so much for dialing in. I know it's quite late in the day for many of you across Australia, certainly those of you on the East Coast. So before we start, I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners across Australia and their continuing connection to land, water, and community. We would like to pay our respects to elders past, present, and emerging. So welcome all of you. This is a very exciting session because it's the one time in the year where we get to see the faces of all of the people around Australia that are taking part in Garage Cell Trail. So a very warm welcome. My name's Barbara. I'm the general manager here at Garage Cell Trail. So just to kind of kick us off, I just wanted to just let you know that you're part of something really special this November and something really big. So already, thanks to your support and thousands of others around Australia, there are already over 11,200 garage sales and thrift markets happening across Australia, yours being one of them, and more than 3 million items up for sale. So we're really grateful that you've decided to join the event this year, that you're participating in having a garage sale. And I guess that's the one thread that we all have in common on this Zoom today, is that all of you joining in from wherever you are in Australia are going to be hosting a garage sale with us. And we're really delighted to have your support. So today's session, the How to Host a Garage Sale Masterclass, is really all about stepping you through what to do to get organized for your garage sale, what to do on the sale on the actual day, and what to do after. Throughout the session, you're going to see the little fire emoji, and that means there's a hot tip on the screen. So write those down feverishly, or don't write them down, and we'll make sure we send you a recording after today's session. So it's all about making it a bit easier and all about making sure you know that we at Garage Sale Trail are right by your side to support you and help you as you plan for your garage sale on the 8th, 9th, or 15th and 16th of November. So before we kick off, we have pretty much the whole of the Garage Sale Trail team on the line today. And I wanted to just introduce them to you. Some of them will be familiar. So you've already met me, Barbara. We also have marvelous Melina, who's going to give us a wave now. Melina is going to be in the chat box today. So if you've got any questions, disappointingly, there are so many of you on the line. We're expecting over 100 people tonight. Disappointingly, it means we have to do all of our communication via chat. But Melina will be there to answer your questions. She's also going to be your voice throughout the session. So every now and again, I'll stop, chat to Merle, and we'll answer any questions you've got to see how we can make sure we cover what you need to find out tonight. Then we also have the lovely Liz, who's also giving you a wave on screen now. Now, lots of you will know Liz because Liz is at the end of the emails, the telephone, and is there supporting sellers in the lead up to their garage sales. And we're going to have a little guest star with Liz a little bit later on in the session because Liz actually hosted a garage sale last year on the trail and has some great tips to share with us. And then last, but definitely not least, we have an incredibly special guest with us, also known as the Melbourne Forager. Matilda is joining us from Melbourne. Good evening, Matilda.
And hi, everyone.
Thanks so much for joining us, Matilda. Like to let you all know, Matilda has had, is it 10 or more garage sales you've had to date?
Yeah, I'd say about 10 to 15. I've kind of looked that around there.
Yeah, so very much a garage sale expert. And am I right in saying you're a Norwegian-born Australian?
That's right, yeah. I was born and raised in Norway, and I came here as a backpacker without plans.
Oh.
That was 11 years ago. So I kind of kept finding little reasons to stick around for a bit longer and a bit longer. I never came with the intention to move, but then, yeah, it's 11 years later, and my parents are pulling their hair out. But
I bet. My parents are similar, actually, in the UK. And tell me, are garage sales a part of Norwegian culture as well, or do you think it's a very Australian thing?
It is, but they're slightly different. It's less of the private people doing yard sales, and it's more community groups that come together. Often it's, say, a school sporting team or a music group that will pull all the parents' resources. So once or twice a year, all the parents will be invited to drop off all of the things that they no longer want, and then there'll be a giant flea market.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So I used to go all the time with my sister. from when I was like 12, and we'd go and find treasures there. So,
And I
yeah.
guess it's the same in the UK. It's jumble sales I had growing up, and it's probably slightly climate related for
Yeah,
in Europe.
true. There's like 6 months of the year. It's very wet and snowy and cold.
Yeah. And tell me, you've had over 10 garage sales, maybe up to 15. What is it? Why do you like having garage sales? What do you get out of it?
Yeah, so I love the community aspect of it. So there's a few things. So first of all, I do a lot of foraging. So whether that's fruit from overhanging branches, or if it's hard rubbish or treasures from op shops. So I tend to get things, and I don't want to become a hoarder. So a garage sale has been a wonderful thing to also then redistribute it back into the system, because I don't want to rely too much on op shops because they are
Mhm.
so overwhelmed by all the things that get donated to them. So I find that whatever I can help myself and put the time in, and yeah, and help find that thing a new home with someone that's going to love it, I think that's a really cool thing. But also
Yeah.
just the community aspect of it. I've gotten to know so many of my neighbors, and even people that I might not think would be interested in yard sales. I live in Carlton North in Nam in Melbourne, and I would think that maybe they would be like older people, like very wealthy people would be a bit like, oh, another yard sale, things on our streets. But I've actually found that the reception has been wonderful, and people love to stop for a chat or even pick up a croissant from the bakery down the street on the way back as a thanks that, there's something
Oh,
happening on the street.
wow.
So it's really lovely.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, so that's definitely two of the big reasons why there's such wonderful things to do. There's that passing on of the story of the stuff, but also the neighborhood connections and community connections that come about.
Exactly.
Thank you, Matilda. So you're going to see these little yellow, quite aggressive yellow question marks popping up throughout the presentation today. And whenever they're there, I'm going to throw to Matilda and get her insights from having 15 garage sales. So you're going to get real life insights from someone who's a real expert when it comes to organizing these events. Before we get started, just a little reminder, there's a whole bunch of materials ready-made to support you in your seller dashboard. If you don't know what your seller dashboard is, it's basically the area of the Garage Sale Trail site that you access when you log into our website. So it's personal to you, and we've put a bunch of free promotional materials and guides in there. So there's the one thing I'd recommend having a look at is the How to Host a Garage Sale guide. It's a great bit of companion reading to tonight's session. And particularly, it's got a checklist at the back, which goes through the step-by-step for getting organized. So it's really all about making sure it doesn't feel overwhelming. And it's hopefully, well, it will be really fun prepping and then enjoying your garage sale. So let's get stuck in. We're going to be wrapped up by 8 p.m. We know it's an evening and you're giving up your personal time. So we want to make sure this is high value and that we get you finished for your dinner or relaxation time. The first thing we're going to talk about is making sure your listing on the Garage Sale Trail website really stands out. So every single one of you on the line will have already set up a garage sale on the Garage Sale Trail website, and you'll have a sale listing like the one you see on the screen. One of the highly recommended things we recommend you do first is check that listing between now and your garage sale. Make sure the day, time, and location is correct. Very important point to make there. Addresses are going to be displayed from Friday of this week. So that would be a good day to check your listing, make sure it's correct and that people will be arriving on the right time and the right day. We also highly recommend you consider adding a little about section. So we know from previous garage sale trails, and would you believe we've been doing this for 16 years? What we know is that the sales that do best are the sales that have a little a listing at the top, a little event bio at the top of their listing. It doesn't need to be long, just a couple of sentences, and great to include maybe a couple of standout items or tell them a bit about yourself. What's special about your sale? What makes it uniquely you? If you want to update, or actually before we jump into how, here's a couple of examples of really good examples we've seen. As you can see, they don't need to be long, couple of sentences, tell people what you're selling, tell them if there's anything additional you'll be providing on the day. So as you'll see, this one, they've got music all day, all sale long. Those little details really encourage people to stop by your sale when they see your listing on the Garage Sale Trail website. When in order to and then the other thing to consider is also your sale name. So you'll see this sale is called Newport Neighborhood Treasures. Because we've got so many garage sales, as I said, 11,000 across Australia, we highly recommend you have a sale name that really pops and stands out. Now, we also know it can be really hard coming up with a name for your garage sale. So we thought we would share some of the really good examples we've seen this year. With any luck, someone on the line today is one of these sales. And I particularly loved The Good, the Bad, and the Thrifty, as well as Thrift Me Baby One More Time. Lots of them using cultural references, being a bit silly and fun. Really, really, really suggest it's a good idea to consider updating those sale names. So if you do want to edit or you need to edit any of the details of your sale, this is what you need to do. So first things first, you'll go to the Garage Sale Trail website, which is garagesaletrail.com.au. Click on the login button and enter your username and password. So your username will be your email and the password you set when you signed up. You can then on the left see an edit sale button. Select that from the menu and you can update any of the details of your garage sale. So super simple, shouldn't take very long. If you have any issues, of course, Liz, as usual, is on the end of an email. So feel free to email us if you have challenges with that. But highly recommend, top tip number one, check your listing, make sure the day and times and location are correct. And if you can, update your sale name so it's something really catchy and a little description as well. Matilda, before I kind of jump off this, what do you do when you're on your listing? What are your tips?
Yeah, so my tips would be to try to get to the core of what you're actually selling and what kind of person would really be looking for that. Like I usually sell a lot of clothes, I sell a lot of vintage things because that's what I'm interested in myself. So I really try to highlight exactly what people will find at the sale. I also try to be really specific about the categories, and I find that when I do post it online, people will usually message and go, oh, what kind of electronics, or what kind of books, or what kind of this, and people are really particular about what they're looking for. So if you do that, get more granular about what you're actually selling and putting up photos, and that will bring more people to your sale.
Yeah, right. It's a little bit like dating apps, isn't it? In some ways, it's all about matchmaking. Your listing is appealing to the people that are like you, that are gonna want to buy stuff that you own. So it's really all about showcasing yourself and going, this is the sort of stuff that I'll be selling.
Yeah, exactly. It reminds me of a quote by, I think it was Hemingway, who said that when you're writing a story, don't if you open the store like your window to the world, then your store is going to catch pneumonia. It's a bit like that as well. Like
yeah.
If you're trying to sell your sale to everyone, you're probably not going to catch anyone. But if you then target those specific people that are really going to like what you're selling, they will come.
You're way more likely to sell more. Yeah. Great tips, Matilda. Thank you. Merle, is there anything in the chat before I move on to section 2 around sale listings and updating?
No questions.
Okay, good. So just a reminder to everyone, the chat box is there for you. If there's things we're not covering that you would really love to hear about, if you're itching to ask Matilda something, stick it in the chat and we'll make sure we get to that during the course of today's session. Now, we've done the basics around your listing. We're going to get stuck into some really meaty stuff now around how do we get people attending your sale. So having your listing set up is step 1. We know there'll be lots of bargain hunters and shoppers looking at the map, looking at your listing, but you want to reach even more people. So we highly recommend in the next week or 2 before your garage sale that you start to think about how you can promote your garage sale. So we're going to break that into 2 in the session. We're going to start by talking about ways to promote your sale online. And then we're going to go old school and talk about how can you get the word out in the community to your neighbors and others that live locally. So here's what we're suggesting, and this is what we've seen from the last 16 years with Garage Sale Trail. We highly recommend you jump on social media. If you have it, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all of those all of those social media channels are a really good place to tell people that you're involved in Garage Sale Trail. Top tip, highly recommend if you are posting on Garage Sale Trail, you are posting about your garage sale to tag us. That means we can also share your posts with everyone that follows Garage Sale Trail as well. So highly recommend that. My number one tip promoting between now and your garage sale is to have a look at any local Facebook groups you're a member of. So you might be on Facebook, you might be a part of a local neighborhood group. My area of Marrickville, for example, in Sydney, we've got a lot of different Facebook groups, both buy, sell, swap and just regular neighborhood communities. They are hotbeds for finding bargain hunters and shoppers. So if you do one thing in terms of online promotion, I would recommend it's promoting in your local Facebook groups and buy, sell, swap groups. If you're not on social media, good on you. Certainly many days I wish I wasn't. The other options for you online, maybe you could send some emails out to your friends. Maybe you could text your friends and families. Maybe you have some WhatsApp chat groups you could be promoting it to. Have a think about all the different kind of online channels you've got. How do you communicate with people and start spreading the word to tell them that you'll be having a garage sale? To make it all a bit easier, you will find a whole range of ready-made social media tiles and graphics, lovely photos that you can use on your social media channels, or you can keep it very simple and just share a link to your sale page. I'll throw to you, Matilda. What do you do online? Do you use social media a lot for your garage sale promotions?
Yeah, I'd say mainly I use Facebook. All those community groups are really good. And I would add to your advice that just make sure that you post it a bit in advance. Like it doesn't have to be, a week in advance, but don't post it the day before, because a lot of those groups will, they'll have to approve your post. And so there's been a few times that I've been a bit busy during the work week and I'm planning a sale for a Saturday and I'm like, Friday I'll put the post up. And then by Saturday noon, the post has been approved. And that means that I missed out on all those eyes on the post. So I would do it at least 3 days before, just to make sure that you do get it approved in time. And then what I like to do is once that's set up, I like to update the post with photos of the setup of the yard sale. So you can see what it's like. Yeah. So that really works as well. I also like to post on Instagram, on my personal Instagram.
Yeah.
And I like to just put it in my group chats with friends. A lot of times friends will come and it will just be this big hangout with friends on my street, and yeah, it's fun.
Well, that's it, isn't it? Like there's so many garage sales I've been to over the years where it's all of these people's friends have come along. There's a bottle of wine being cracked by the afternoon and they're sitting up for the first time in ages. And it's this beautiful informal catch up. So it's definitely worth hitting up the group chat. And I loved your tip about Facebook groups. That's so important, isn't it? So if you're going to promote in those Facebook groups, be sure to go out, ideally the Wednesday before, but certainly a few days before, so that the post gets approved and everyone in your community hears about it. It's a really important piece of the puzzle there, actually. Yeah. And what do you post on social? So what would you do in your Facebook community? What sort of information would you be sharing?
I would share, if I have photos of any specific items that I know people might be interested in, or just oftentimes I am really busy during the week. So I'll just make a poster and list all of the categories that will be present. And then I'll rely on that update once the sale is up and we've been able to display our wares. Something that I've learned, and if someone's planning to do 2 sales during the garage sale trail, is whatever you didn't sell for the first sale, take photos before you pack it down, because then that can be part of what you upload for the next sale. So that's a good tip. I've started doing that because I'm a serial seller, so I often just pack it down and then pack it back up again. Yeah. And that really helps. So yeah.
Yeah, that's a great tip. So sharing up photos of your items, that's a really good tip, I think, and particularly in the lead up to think about, it may only be kind of identifying 3 or 4 of the very best things you're selling, but just to give people that little kind of indicator and view into what you're selling. That's a great idea. In fact,
you can also add it to Marketplace as a posting on Marketplace.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's also a good way to get extra eyes on it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I've got an example of I was actually a garage sale shopper last weekend, and I've already told Matilda this. My local community group did a post about having a garage sale, and they posted pictures of items they were selling. And one of them, it may just be sitting next to me. I'm not sure you can how to see it. It's a ballerina in a bottle that sings and dances. Anyway, she was in the post, and I just rushed there. I'd saw it. I knew that they would have stuff I liked, and I was all the way down there, in under 5 minutes to check it out. So really good idea from Matilda there. Use your community group, your Facebook community groups, add photos. I loved that idea of posting within the same post that you did previously. That's a really, really good tip. So just to make it easier for all of that, as I said, there's loads of ready-made tiles and stories in your dashboard. So you can either do as Matilda does, create a poster and post that in your social media. You can use some of the assets we've provided, or better still, take some photos of some of the items you're selling and post those into your personal social media channels or into your community groups. Merle, are we having any questions come through on the online promo that it would be good for Matilda or I to answer at this point?
Well, we just had a question asking if they were allowed to use it on social media posts, which they obviously can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, good. Keep the questions coming, guys. We really want to make sure we cover anything that you've got questions about. So feel free to ask us anything and everything. No question is a silly question. Lots of us on the line here have never had a garage sale before, so we're here to answer everything. Okay, online. Have we covered all online, Matilda? Have I missed anything there? We've sort of said Facebook groups are great. Post 3 days out. Look at messenger groups, group chats as another option, and maybe marketplace.
Yeah, and I guess if you're really bold, just also spam your workplace. Go into the team,
Yeah.
teams app, and just say, "I'm going to have a yard sale. Come."
Yeah. Why not? I mean, it's a good point. Yeah. Thinking about all the groups you're a part of. It might be an aerobics class you do, or it might be the mums at school. Think about those groups and the chats you have for those groups, because you never know who might be in the market for your vintage dress.
And I find that even I posted it in big group chats with lots and lots of friends and acquaintances. And sometimes acquaintances have come by and have become friends just by hanging out at the sale and having that one-on-one that maybe we haven't had before, because usually we hang out in a big group. So yeah, just casting that wide, and you never know who comes and what comes from it. So
yeah, love that. Really love that. Okay, great. So that's our online section. We're now going to go old school and talk about the ways you can promote your sale offline. So let's have a little delve into that. And it's really quite simple. And it's probably the number one most important thing you need to do. So what we recommend is you put some signs up in your neighborhood, make them big, make them bright. Particularly if you don't live on a main road, this is going to be more important than ever, because you won't have as much passing traffic. But signage is king in the garage sale world. So get them up in really busy spots, use bus stops, you name it. You want to be papering your posters and your signage as far and wide as you possibly can. The other thing we've seen lots of sellers do is letterbox their neighbors. It's quite a nice thing to do anyway, just to let them know something's happening on the street. And you'll find things like ready-made posters and letterbox slips in your seller dashboard. I'm going to throw to you, Matilda, because you are the expert with this. What do you do? Do you put posters up?
I do. Yeah, that's one of the big ways that I tell people about the sale. I am really lucky that I live on quite a busy pedestrian street, so I get a lot of foot traffic anyways. But I also live near to a lot of good bars and pubs and bakeries and cafes and restaurants. And so again, about like 3 days before, I like to just have a leisurely walk around my neighborhood with a coffee, and just put up posters in really strategic spots where it makes sense, where people will be waiting for their coffee or waiting in line to get into a bar or something like that. And so I would say maybe in like a 500-meter radius to like the top spots in my area I like to hit, because usually a sale is on a weekend, and so people don't usually mind going for a little bit of a walk. So yeah, super recommend that. And print out or make a bit more posters than you think, because it's very frustrating if you run out of posters before you think you will, because you'll be like, oh yeah, here makes sense. Yeah, here makes sense. And then in no time you've run out of posters. So I would say at least 12 posters. And if you don't live on a busy road, I would put out, like, use chalk, or even make a bigger poster that people would see from their cars, or from a big road.
Yeah. So at least 12 to bring more than you think you need, and high traffic spots. I've heard people talk about things like bus stops as being good places.
Yeah.
You know, it's that whole thing around where are people gathering? It might be supermarket notice boards, train stations. You know, what are people doing on a Saturday morning? They're at the cafes, you said, or they're at the bakery. So think about those places where people are gathering on the days you're having your sale near you, where you can grab people along. I, for one, certainly, if I see a garage sale sign on my Saturday morning walk for my coffee, I'm going.
I was going to say the same. I'll nearly cause a crash if I'm driving and I see a yard sale sign. I'm like, I do put up those signs.
So tell me, what do you put on your signs? What are the must includes so that people have enough information and know where you are? And
yeah, it would be bright colors so that people see it. It would be an attention grabbing name, and then just lots and lots of categories of items that we're selling.
Yeah.
And yeah, just the time and the place, really.
Yeah. So key there is kind of time, place. Bright colors is a good one. We're actually about to do, I don't know if anyone on the line knows Becky Orpin. She's an incredible Australian designer. She's a bit of a legend. Anyway, she's done a bit of a guide for us on how to make signage for Garage Sale Trail. And her tips, very similar to you, Matilda, they were if you can, use bright colored card or paper, because it's really kind of attention grabbing, really big, bold letters, you know, have something, funny or eye catching in the name. The categories is a great one. And then obviously, most importantly, they need to know when and where the sale is happening. Do you think it's important on the posters to flag whether it's cash only?
If it is, then yeah, I would definitely say so. I do find that some people do carry cash, but most people do want to use PayID or PayPal, mostly PayID.
Yeah.
It's been quite cute though. I've taught a lot of people how to use PayID through the years now with my yard sales, because often there'll be someone a bit older who might not have used it before, but they really want to buy something, and I have to kind of guide them through their banking app, and they figure it out. So yeah. But
so this is like a fourth or fifth career for you, Matilda. You're like a financial educator.
Yeah, exactly. But I would recommend,
payments on the go.
Yeah, PayID is very easy to set up and use. So that's worked really well for me.
Yeah, it's really excellent. So we'll go to questions in a sec. So if you've got any burning questions around signage, posters, how else to promote in your community, let us know. In the meantime, you will see on screen some other tools and templates that are in your dashboard. So you'll see things like directional signage. It's a great one to think about. And as Matilda said, you can chalk the pavements so that you can kind of lead people on a beautiful little treasure trail to where you are, or you can just stick up arrows just leading people to your address. So lots of ways to do it, but the key thing is you want high visibility in the day of your garage sale and the day before, so that you get people along to your sale. In fact, there's a question for you, Matilda. When do you put your posters up?
Depending on the weather. If it's raining, I'll hold out until the day before. But if I can, then 3 days before I think is good. So people have more chance to see it.
Yeah. Okay. Great. So it sounds like 3 days before is the busy time. That's you're getting in your Facebook groups, you're putting up your posters, and that sets you up for getting lots of shoppers through the gates on the day.
Yeah.
Well, any questions? You can always do a little.
We've got a question from Kath. She's asked, are there restrictions on where you can put up your signs? I'm a little more rural, so would have them on a post, etc.
Yeah, this is a really good question. And it's actually quite a complicated one because it does depend on your local government area. Not the answer I want to be giving you. Generally, look, most of the council, we work with so many councils across Australia that generally it's okay. what I would recommend is that you make sure you take them down after, because that's often when you get challenges. But if you're really concerned, check in with council. You'll find we've not had any issues in the past with people being told off for putting posters in places, but the key is to make sure they are taken down after, if you can. Anything else, Melina, on the chat? I'm just moving mine.
Not specifically on offline promoting.
Okay, great. All right. Excellent. We are raring through the agenda here. So we've talked so far about promotions, and really the kind of key message from all of that is to get lots of shoppers, we want to make sure your listing on Garage Sale Trails really stands out. And then you want to go out and tell your friends, your family, your community that you're involved. And there's lots of ways to do that. Next, we're going to talk about pricing and payments. Now, we know this is a really tricky one, particularly about how do you price your items? What value do you put on the items that you own? Can be a really tricky one. So we thought we would delve into this in a bit more detail. So here's what we suggest. We would certainly recommend getting some cash for a cash float. Look, some garage sales still on the trail are cash only, and that's absolutely fine. You can absolutely have a cash only garage sale. However, we would recommend you consider, as Matilda said, a cash free alternative. And that's because lots and lots of people aren't carrying cash anymore. And particularly if people are just walking past your sale, if you've got that kind of just passing trade, you want to make sure when somebody wants something that they can buy it. So we highly recommend considering providing a cash-free option. Matilda's already mentioned these. Pay ID is a really great and simple one. I'll get her to tell you a bit more about how that works in a sec. The other one that we've seen work really successfully is PayPal QR code payments. Melina's going to share a link to how they work in the chat, but it's free to set up. You get a QR code that you have to print at your garage sale, and then your shoppers just scan that on their phone and they can make a payment direct to your PayPal account. There are some transaction fees associated with PayPal just to be aware of, but I do believe you can make them friends and family payments to try and make that a little bit, to try and bring those transaction fees down. And then when it comes to pricing, it is such a difficult one. And there's so many tips we could give you. But the most important pricing tip really is to think about why you're having a garage sale in the first instance. If you're having a garage sale to clear out your closets, to declutter, to make space, if it's really just about moving things on rather than making money, price to clear. You know, people turn up to garage sales expecting them to be cheaper than other retail outlets. So if you're looking to declutter, price to clear. If you've got really special stuff, you might want to think about having a look on platforms like eBay to see what the items are selling for on marketplaces. eBay's got a thing on their website where you can see what things are selling for. So it will give you a really good idea if something's high value. And if it is, you might want to we'd recommend you put a higher price on those items. Matilda, how do you deal with your pricing? How do you decide on what you're going to charge for the items you're letting go of?
Yeah, I try to just go with the flow with the pricing. It kind of depends on the day. I try to not think about the price that I paid for the thing, because that money is already gone.
Yeah.
Rather, I'm thinking that space I can get back. It's some money I can get back. If it's stuff that I know is worth quite a lot, often I will put it out, but I will also know that I could probably sell it for more on Marketplace or somewhere else if it doesn't sell for that price. So certain things I can be a bit tougher on and go, no, I know what it's worth. But sometimes I won't even put them out for a yard sale, and I'll just put more of those things out that I'm kind of happy to just let them give me a price. And unless it's a really offensive low ball, I'll go, yeah, that's fine, take it. So
that really talks to why you're doing it, doesn't it? Because your motivation is much more about community and seeing something live on and be passed on. So, you're a little bit less concerned about making money. It's about making sure it finds a good new home.
Yeah, so I like to just kind of say, I'll just throw out a price if they ask me. I usually don't price things individually.
Yeah.
But I know that works really well for people. So if you do have the time and if you're not selling too much stuff, it's too much time for me to price things individually. So I just hang it up and let people ask me.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I just throw out a price, and then if they kind of balk a little bit and I'm like, well, I want this thing gone, then I'll just say, no, it's okay. Give me a price. What's it worth to you? And usually
So
they will.
you are well and truly embracing the haggle. I am
Oh my
impressed.
God, I love it. I think it's really fun. And I usually also have a free section as the sale progresses. If I'm not planning to have one in a long time and I don't want to take up space, then I might have a free table or a free section. And I'll
Yeah.
just navigate that and like have little conversations with myself through the day and be like, oh, I don't think it's going to sell. No one's looked at it. I'll add it to the free table, and then that will draw people in to have a look at the rest of the sale.
Oh, that's really smart. And that's a really good tip actually there around having a free table, particularly at the front to draw people in. People love a freebie. So it's a really good idea. And certainly also a good idea to be thinking about maybe discounting towards the end of your garage sale. If you're doing, let's say you're doing a sale on 2 days, you haven't sold as much as you wanted to by day 2, maybe you do half price on day 2. Think about some ideas like that will help you shift more stuff. They work really well.
Yeah, yeah. And I would also recommend, if you have a lemon tree in your yard or something that you have an abundance of, rosemary, whatever, have a little basket for free outside
Oh,
your house for the yard sale. It really makes people, yeah, light up to just be given something free.
that is beautiful. What a lovely little addition.
Yeah,
That comes to your sale. They may not buy something, but they've left with having had a lovely conversation with you and a couple of sprigs of rosemary for making their lamb that evening, whatever it might be. That's
yeah.
awesome.
Like, yeah, one time I had a little basket of free teddies. I had a lot of just kids' toys that I didn't really care to get money back for, and I just had a sign that just said, one for each kid or something, and kids could just go and grab a toy, and it became this big thing that it's really lovely.
Oh, the joy you're spreading, Matilda. It's such a great story. So you were saying you don't price individually. Do you do things like we're seeing on screen where you might do a price for a rack, or you're a little bit more go with the flow with the pricing?
I'm a bit more go with the flow, and often because I do it with friends as well. I have two clothing racks, and another friend has a clothing rack, but often a friend might join that doesn't have a clothing rack, so we'll just put things on the same rack, and so it'll just have to be a bit of a mix of
Yeah.
value.
I
Yeah.
love the fact that you do it as effectively a friendship activity. You bring your friends together and you do it together because, garage sales, it can be quiet quite a lot of the time. And then it's, you have these little bursts of excitement and busyness and sales, and then it's quiet. So it's this great time just to catch up and be with your friends and then meet new friends as well.
100%.
So other tips that we've seen other people do, and we really quite recommend this. Think about it. Certainly, pricing individually is going to be a lot of work for a garage sale, but you don't necessarily need to price individually. So have a think about doing things like everything on this table's $5, or everything on the rack's $15, and have some clear signs to show that that's the case. The other model I absolutely love. And look, this does work really well because the shoppers are really comfortable. They know what things cost. They're more likely in some ways to buy. Is doing a numbered sticker, doing colored stickers, and having a little key up at your sale, which clearly shows the yellow sticker's $5, green is 10, and stickering up your stuff. Bit of work involved in that. It's absolutely not necessary, but it is a great approach that works very well at some garage sales. So let's talk about Pay ID again, Matilda, because you obviously do use that. You're educating people on how to use it. How easy was it for you to set up for your garage sale to have Pay ID?
Oh, it was super easy. I was a bit slow on the phone banking for some reason, and so I was using like BSB kind of transfers for a while. But yeah, you can just use your phone number, and it takes people no time at all. It's immediate. You can immediately see that it got into your account, and they can just show you the verification on their screen that they've transferred you the money. So it feels for me really safe and really quick and very pain free. Yeah. works with, as far as I've seen, it's working for like between every bank, and yeah, for me it's a no-brainer to use it. But yeah, cash is good as well.
Yeah, it's good. I think it's good to do a mix, isn't it, if you can?
Yeah.
And, certainly Pay ID is very, very easy for most people. And the fact that it's done by mobile phone number rather than BSB and account number is way more secure.
Yeah, and I would say for me, I prefer using Pay ID to PayPal, because you can do that friends and family thing, but it feels a bit clunky and you kind of have to like ask them to do it, and then
Yeah.
there's this extra step, and they might not want to do it because there's extra protections with using the non-friends and family.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I prefer Pay ID. It just is easier for me.
Yeah, absolutely. So lots of options for you guys there. There's also things like Square, which we haven't talked about. I believe you have to buy actually Square you can do on your phone. In fact, could we call upon Liz in the team? Because I believe, Liz, did you have a Square at your garage sale?
Yeah, I use Square. It was very easy to set up and it's instant. You just tap your phone and yeah, I liked it. I'd say maybe half of people use Square and half use, paid in cash.
Yeah, okay. And to set up Square, can you just do it on your phone? You don't need any equipment or any of that stuff?
Yeah, no, it's just on the App Store. It was pretty straightforward. Yeah, it's great. I recommend it.
Okay, great. Top tip from Liz from her garage sale from last year. So there's lots of options. Really, the key message is consider having cash and an option, doesn't matter which one, to take payment other than cash, so that you can make sure you're getting more sales from the people that aren't carrying cash or don't have enough cash. We want to get people spending big at your garage sale. And of course, there's lots of templates and tools on the dashboard. You're hearing this a lot from us, but we wanted to make sure you knew what support's provided, what's already available in your seller dashboard to help you with designing and creating things like price guides. Well, it's probably time. Is there anything popped up in the chat, particularly regarding pricing and payments?
Yeah, so we got a question regarding Square, if there are any charges with that.
Over to you, Liz.
I think it was 1 or 2% of the price. So it was
Yeah. Okay.
visible.
Yeah. And very simple. Okay. Any
And
other?
She's got a question from Emma, who's looking to do a lemonade stand with her kids, wondering if it's okay and if she should be doing that for free, or if that's something she should charge for.
Oh, look, we love a lemonade stand. It's one of my faves. Who couldn't resist a lemonade stand? Everyone will be buying a lemonade. Look, it's absolutely up to you whether you price or do it, whether you charge or give it for free. I would absolutely be charging, I think. You've made the lemonade. It's a great additional revenue stream on the day. And, no one wants to miss out on some homemade lemonade, particularly when there's when it's being sold to you by a cute kid. So highly recommend lemonade stands. Highly recommend adding all sorts of little added extras that are you to the event to make it really fun.
I would jump in and say that I would recommend making it a gold coin donation for that. I feel like I read somewhere that if it's made in a home kitchen, if it's priced, it has to fall under a lot stricter rules for opportunity. But if it's a gold coin donation, it's not as strict. There's something around there. Might have to do some of that, but I would recommend, gold coin donation, or just donate whatever you feel like, kind of thing, and then.
That is thank goodness you're with us, Matilda, with the official advice on that. That seems like very safe advice and very good advice to follow. We will also be double checking that to make sure we're giving you guys the right advice. But yeah, that seems very sensible. Gold coin donation recommended for lemonade stands. So we've covered promotion, we've covered pricing. We are now going to talk about your actual sale day. And this is the day it's all about having fun. We want your experience on Garage Sale Trail to be fun. It should be about meeting people, sharing stories of your stuff, hanging out with friends. And there's all sorts of ways to make sure your sale is as fun as possible. I'm actually going to go straight to you, Matilda, rather than sharing our tips here, because I've got some photos on screen of one of your last sales. And I know that one of the things you do really well is create a really nice atmosphere. You make it, somewhere people want to hang out and have a chat. So how do you do it? How do you make your garage sale be somewhere that people want to come and hang out with you at?
Yeah, so a big thing is I like to do it with friends. So then I don't get around and, wait for people to come and I really hyper focus on them. I can just chat with my friends and it can be a really relaxed environment. I like to play music. I like to put out seats. So if people do want to have a sit, whether it's to have a rest or if they want to try on shoes, they can do that. I put out a water bowl for dogs. I like to just have really like nice snacks on hand, help my friends as well, so that we're not hangry. We can just like nibble on things, and then have a bottle of wine after 12, have coffees. I'm really lucky that I have a partner who doesn't like to do yard sales, but is very good to be on hand to bring out little cheese toasties or water or coffee if we need it. So that's really helpful. So if you do have a partner or anyone that's happy to be your helper during the day, that's really good. And just have fun. Just obviously making money is part of it, and it is really fun to make some money on it and see your things cleared out. But I have to just have those little interactions with them, and yeah, just that people came, and yeah, that's really good.
I think that's really important, isn't it? I don't think anyone's getting rich having a garage sale. You're going to make some nice pocket money, but the real joy is the people you meet, the stories you share about your shared love of certain items or bands or fashion. It's really all about the magic is the community connection. So you want to create an environment where people feel relaxed and comfortable. I love the fact you provide seats. I hadn't thought of that. Somewhere where people can sit down, because you're on your feet a lot when you're hitting the garage sale trail. So that's such a great idea. So some little sale day tips from us. We've covered some of these already. So in terms of kind of how you're presenting your sale, we've talked about organizing items by category or price. When it comes to displaying, you could probably use what you've already got for displaying your stuff. So tables, boxes for little rummages, suitcases can be packed with things. I know, Matilda, you have racks that you put your clothing on. But I've also seen people use things like their Hills hoist, or they've strung out bits of rope or ribbon and attached clothes to them. So have a look at what you've already got for displaying your items. You shouldn't need to be spending lots of money finding things for displaying things. Most things that you need for display should be already in your home. We've talked about making sure you've got big, bright signage. The most important ingredient is the fun. Play music, as Matilda said. Think about having things like a free table or maybe even a lucky dip. I've seen people also do things like a petting station for dogs with dog bowls and treats, or a kids corner, so that if the mums are there with their kids, the kids are busy doing something while they're browsing. And then the last tip, which we've sort of already covered, is around think about maybe reducing those prices for the final hour of your garage sale. Anything you would add, Matilda? I'll start sharing some more pictures of people on their sale days just to inspire others. But anything else you think we've missed around displaying or signage, anything that happens on the day?
No, I think that's pretty good. I think you've covered it. But yeah, definitely recommend having a mix of racks and tables and tubs. And having more tubs than you think you might need, it's good, because then as you progress through the day and you realize that some things might not sell, you can put them in tubs and say this tub 3 for 10 or something like that, and you can just do it as you sell. Yeah.
Okay, great. And do you use social media on the day? You mentioned previously you repost in your Facebook group, so would that be the main thing you do on the day to tell people your sale's happening and it's live, or do you use Instagram stories? Is there anything else you do to promote your sale over that on the day?
Yeah, I use Instagram stories, and then the posts that I've already posted, and just group chats with friends.
Yeah, great. Good to put reminders out there, isn't it? Because people might have the best intentions to come, but sometimes they just need to be told 2 or 3 times or have a little reminder. So don't worry too much if you feel like you're a broken record telling people the same thing again and again. a lot of us, myself included, need plenty of reminders. So that little nudge that they see, your story on Instagram or little text message to the group chat, that might just be the little nudge they needed to remember to swing by and pick up some bargains with you.
Exactly.
So we're just going to flick through some of this so you can see some of the good signage. I actually really love this example, Matilda, because obviously it's really hard to print signage at home. You may not even have a printer at home, where these guys just use one A4 piece of paper for each letter. Really simple, and it's so effective. It's really bright. It's really eye-catching. I've seen you use chalk a bit as well with your sales. Very effective.
Yeah, I use chalk, but I also do hand-drawn signs sometimes if I can't be bothered to go. It's because we don't have a printer, so you have to go to the library to get them printed out. So sometimes we just pull out markers and do it by hand.
And handmade is best with a garage sale, isn't it? It gives it way more personality, and I'm almost more likely, I think, to go to a handmade sign garage sale.
I agree.
I've spotted this example on the right. It's interesting. They've used chalk for their pricing, which is actually a really smart idea, so definitely, it's all about lots of signage, lots of promotion, and then, on the day, make it really fun for people.
But then with chalk, it's good to wash it off after the sale, so you're not in the yard sale house for the next 2 weeks if it's not raining.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, good point. So last but not least, to help make it fun for you guys, we also have a garage sale trail party pack. This includes, if you're not sure what music to play at your garage sale, this answers the question. We've got a playlist on there that you can play through your garage sale. It's all thrift and secondhand related songs. There's also things to help you with starting conversations with your neighbors if that's something you're nervous about, and things like badges and bunting. So if you're really looking to make your sale really fun, highly recommend you take a look at that pack and get some inspo and ideas for how you can create a bit of an atmosphere on the day. So we're coming towards the end. I've just realized the time. We've just had such a nice time chatting away, Matilda. I'm going to just jump into what happens after, and then we're going to go to the chat box to see what questions we haven't yet answered. So lastly, we just want to talk about after your sale. So generally, you'll find with a garage sale, you might not sell everything. You may sell 20, 30, 40. Many people do sell out, but you need to get a plan in place for what you don't sell at your garage sale. So have a think about what are the local options? Are you going to be donating to charity? If so, really good to call ahead and understand what they accept, and donate those items in store hours. If things are at their end of their life, then you're not going to be able to donate or reuse them. It's definitely worth having a look at the services offered by your local council, and particularly if you're looking for things like a council collection, make sure you book those well ahead of time. We will be in touch after Garage Sale Trail on the last day of your sale to provide you with some tips and advice on other ways you can reuse and recycle, rehome the items that you no longer need. But definitely worth having a little bit of a think about that before the event. So we're at the Q&A section. Mel, what have we got in the chat box that we've yet to answer?
We've got a question from Denise who's asked how you provide a space for someone to try on clothes.
Oh, great question, Denise. What do you do, Matilda? Do you do anything with that?
I often actually just let people come inside and use my bathroom. It's just that people will be good, and that's worked really well for me. But I know that's not for everyone. So I also often leave a big mirror out. And when you leave a mirror out for people to try on things, they will always ask if the mirror is for sale. So just be prepared for that.
So
I've also had people ask if they could run across the street because they live across the street, and can they try it on and come back, and that's worked. But where I live, unfortunately, I don't have any space or ability to create a fitting room. So
do you find with the mirror people just try things over the top of what they're wearing, and they're quite happy to do that?
Yeah.
The other thing I've seen to add to that is people using tents. There's some tents have quite a lot of height. and I have seen people use those occasionally. But I would say people aren't expecting changing rooms when they're hitting a garage sale. So, even I think providing a mirror is great. Most people will be happy to try things on over their clothes.
Yeah. And if you are going to sales yourself, I would recommend wearing like lycra or something that's easy to try things on over, nothing bulky.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's an active wear day. You got to have comfy shoes too. You got to pound the pavements hitting garage sale.
Exactly.
Melina, have we got any other questions that we haven't answered?
Got another question from Rush, Nush, sorry. What's the best way of sourcing tables and stands for the sale setup?
Good question. I mean, do you have any answers for this one, Matilda?
Well, I use a lot of the tables from inside of our house. So if you are able to carry them outside, I know they can be a bit heavy, but that gives us a lot of space. I also have those foldable camping tables. So I do a lot of hard rubbishing. So through the years, I've been able to find some that may not be the nicest on but they're structurally sound. And then I'll throw a blanket over them so you wouldn't be able to tell. So I have a few of them stacked. But yeah, just pull out tables from your own house and then either maybe cover them with a blanket so they won't get scratched. And people will probably also ask if they are for sale. So the things you want to sell, people are reluctant about. The things you don't want to sell, they always ask.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So so much as possible, we recommend you try and repurpose what you already have. And, you can use other things as well, like boxes. I think the idea of throwing a rug or a blanket or a tablecloth or similar over the top is a great idea. There are places you can hire, things like trestle tables. A quick Google will find any local options for those. You might even, I tell you, this is a good tip. It might be worth posting in your Buy Nothing New groups locally, your Facebook groups, to go, look, I'm having a garage sale. I just need a table for one day. I'm sure there'd be someone locally who'd be very happy to lend you one just for that day, so you don't need to buy one new. So have a think about those good karma groups, Buy Nothing New groups, great spots where people are willing to lend a hand.
Or even your neighbors might have something to lend.
Yeah, good point.
Most people have a lot of camping stuff. So as you tell them that you're going to have a sale, why not ask, by the way, do you have a table I could borrow?
And before you know it, they'll be selling with you too.
Exactly.
Or donating things for you to sell. Any other questions, Melina?
I've got a question from Emma who's asked, do you find the first or the second weekend most successful?
I don't know if have you done both weekends, Matilda, of Garage Sale Trail, or have you tended to have like a 1 day or a 2 day sale?
I am usually like a one day sale.
Girl. Yeah. Look, we have we obviously survey everyone who does Garage Sale Trail, so we get a really good idea of how people go. Saturdays tend to be busier, so that is a top tip. If you can do your sale on a Saturday, recommend it. Sundays still go well, but they tend to be slower. But there's not really a big difference between the 2 weekends, unless, of course, we're majorly impacted by weather. So highly recommend keeping an eye on the weather forecast. We will also be doing that too. And we'll be sending you little emails and reminders in the lead up to Garage Sale Trail to let you know if we think there's going to be challenges with the weather. So have a look at the forecast. If you think it's going to be wet, consider moving it to the other weekend. But really no difference between the 2 weekends, slightly more shoppers on the Saturday. How are we going, Merle, in terms of questions? Are we almost, I'm just aware it's 8:01. I don't know how that happened.
Those are all the questions.
Oh, great. I have then just for the end of today shared the key takeaways. And actually, I have to give credit to Matilda here. So Matilda did an incredible post on Instagram about her top tips for having a garage sale. And we know that sessions like this, it can feel a little bit overwhelming. So we don't want you to be overwhelmed. Just take away 1 or 2 ideas from today that you can take into your garage sale to make it as fun and successful as possible. Don't forget that we are right by your side. Me, Melina, Liz, and the team. We're at the end of an email, the end of a phone. If you have any other questions or any concerns, we're here to help and support you and make it as fun as possible. Before we go, I'm going to throw finally to Liz, because Liz had her first garage sale on the trail last year. What's your kind of top tip, Liz, for someone that's never done it before?
Well, it was really good for trial and error. I will say, probably in terms of promotion, particularly with the letterbox slips, we wish that we had started distributing them earlier, because it takes longer than you expect. And a lot of people don't actually check their mailboxes that often. So we found that a lot of people saw the slips and they mentioned that after the fact, like after the weekend. So yeah, the earlier we'll do it earlier if we do it again. And then similar to what Matilda was saying with pricing, it's we didn't do much pricing on the first day. We have very limited like signage, but we found that people were quite reluctant to ask the price of things. And so the second day we did put a bunch more signage, and we had the tables for $3, the tables for $5 items, and that went a lot better. Like people were much more talking about it and buying things.
Yeah, great tip, Liz. And Liz has got tips like that and more at the end of the email help desk. So don't forget that we're here to help you and support you on your journey. Matilda, what's the one thing you would like to leave everyone with from your 15 garage sales of experience?
Oh, I mean, I feel like I've already said it, but yeah, just try to have fun and also start setting up before you think, like earlier than you think, because it does take a long time. So give yourself an extra half hour, 45 minutes to set up, because people do come early, and you'd rather just be set up and ready to meet people when they come rather than rushing, which I usually do because I I try to squeeze in too many things. So yeah, have fun, give yourself time, and have some snacks and nice things to drink on hand so that you can enjoy yourself through the day.
I loved a comment you made. I think it might even be on here around, think about turning your front garden into a neighborhood wine bar in the afternoon. I mean, how fun. Make it a great way to connect with the neighbors and bring people together. Great.
Yeah, I've made friends at my yard sales that were strangers when they walked up. So it's a cool thing.
It's amazing. So just a little reminder, there's a checklist in your dashboard. So you can download that at any time. And as I said, we're right by your side. If you need to contact us, email is probably the best bet. If there's any questions we haven't covered today, shoot them through to contact us at garagesaletrail.com.au. Liz will be answering. We'll also be sharing a recording from today's session. You'll get that tomorrow morning in your inbox. So if you want to recap on any of the fantastic tips that Matilda's shared, it will be there ready and waiting for you tomorrow. So all that leaves me to do is a round of applause for you, Matilda. You were incredible. We really appreciate you sharing your tips with us. It's so great to have someone that's got so much experience running sales, what all of the things they've learned and done throughout the years. So huge thank you for giving up an hour of your evening for us.
Thanks so much for inviting me to join. I hope I had some helpful tips. So yeah,
lots of tips.
Good luck, everyone.
And please share your sale with us. We can't wait to see your sale. You're having a sale this year?
I am, yeah.
Oh, excellent.
8th. Yeah.
8th. Awesome. Excellent. Well, we hope you do super well. So huge thank you, Matilda. Huge thank you to all of you for tuning in. Apologies for being 6 minutes over. As I said, we're here to help you, and we hope you have the best time on the Garage Sale Trail. Have fun, enjoy it, and let us know if we can help in any way. Night, everyone. Thanks so much.